Oh. Is that gonna be in it? My name is Maya Scarlette. I'm a fashion designer and we're in my design space / room. I taught myself how to sew when I was 7. So I got my mum to take me to Edmonton Green in North London to the fabric shop at the time, and we just bought some fabric and I started making things. Carnival is really important to me because I have a Caribbean heritage, both sides from my mum and my dad. I think Carnival always reminds me of family. So me and my friends, we were fresh out of uni, we couldn't afford anything, and we decided to make our own costumes. And then we went out on the road with them and people were kind of like taking pictures of us and they were convinced that we were a part of a band. And then every year I took it upon myself to make these costumes, and like the more I did it, the more I fell in love with it, and just figuring out my own way how to design pieces. I was already sort of like dabbling in making my own clothes because I didn't really like what was out there, and just wanting to be a bit curious with like fashion and fabrics. Something that turned out to be like really innocent with friends ended up being a career path. So this year I'm just making myself a costume. I decided to just base it on nature, so I was inspired by like butterflies. I always start with the bra itself because I feel like that's sort of the focal point. Even if I do have wings, it's just like what's on the body first. I would normally freehand with the fashion tape. From there I would take some wire and then just like try and bend it into shapes that I like. So I'm creating the base of the wire bra. And I use like galvanized wire to do this, but I start off with like a very soft type of wire first, so it's just like easy to bend the wire and it's like a lot more pliable, and then I'll either double it or I'll use like a stronger wire so that it holds the structure. And this is like a very unconventional way of making a wire bra, but it's also like the way that I taught myself, and it works and it's like tried and tested. I had the idea of like just doing a butterfly on its own, but then I was like, what if it comes off of the body? So I'm making my life so much harder for myself by making it 3D, even though no one asked me to do it, but I decided. I don't know, I just sometimes have ideas and I'm like, what would happen if? And then I realised that I'm the person that has to figure out the if part. So obviously you could go down the route of making something with like leaves or trees, but I don't know. I've always been drawn to butterflies. I had a moment where I was like, I cut the wrong part. Oh, but I didn't. Yay, so the frame is basically done. So then now I would just need to cover it with some foam. Oh, did I poke you? Okay. Ectrodactyly is a disability that I have on my hands and on my feet. I think it just makes me a lot more mindful of people and like how they feel about their bodies, and just like presentation is something that I place like a lot of importance in myself, especially with just fashion and how I dress and whether things are accessible. So I feel like designing and being able to like make something that's custom is really important, because you always want to feel your best, whether like you're in fashion or you're not, like you want to feel like your best self. So the foam that I use is actually like a car foam. It's either in the seats or somewhere. But again, like everything to make this teeny tiny bra feels very unconventional, because you'd never think, oh, I'm gonna buy some car foam to cover my bra. But here we are, and it works. So it's never failed me. Famous last words before it fails me, but I would like trace the shape of the frame and then mark off the points, and then cut out the foam and then hot glue it to the bra, and then that's how you pad it. But because I decided to do 2 layers, this is going to be extra tricky. I still don't really feel like the fashion industry is accessible. I think there's always a cap with these things. So like whether you're black or you're queer or you're disabled, in fashion it feels like you'll have the token few people like at the forefront. But what I find really interesting as well, having friends in the industry, is that I don't actually see myself reflected behind the scenes. It's always, this is a picture of a disabled person or a plus side model, and we've like ticked off the boxes, but like the work also starts like in the studios and with the design teams and with the creative direction. I don't know, I think disabled people are the most creative people because we're always having to redesign not just clothing but like the way we maneuver and just work in the world. So I think it's a little bit of a disservice people not having more disabled individuals just in these spaces, because like we are the blueprint for redesigning things. And now we can see the butterfly forming. What I've done with this one, I'll cover with foam and fabric for all 4 of the rest of the pieces. Typically with costumes, like I think what people are always looking for is something that just like shines and stands out and glimmers, and who doesn't love a rhinestone? I'm also just like plotting in my head because I'm like, do these go? Will I use a different one? There's a lot of thoughts. If you hear a lot of silence, it's me thinking, no, bye. Process of elimination. We went for the yellow. I know, you're seeing a beautiful person walking down the road, they've got rhinestones on, some glitter. Try not to be happy. Shout out my mum and dad. That would actually just be it. Shout out my mum and shout out my mum and dad and my best friends as well. Yeah, because they're the people that always champion me. I told you guys I'm a yapper. Middle and then back line, and then you'll also have, oh no, that was my speaker, sorry.